Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Sunday, May 11th, 2025, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ ORION NWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. Happy Mother's Day 2025. We're at the rubber match, the Toronto Blue Jays versus the Seattle Mariners. Mariners have dropped 2 in a row for the first time in a long time, and our streak of trying to get 10 consecutive series wins in a row died yesterday, but we can find a way to at least prevent the sweep, and we need to win this. This is must win with Bryce Miller on the mound, considering we have the Yankees at T-Mobile for a 3-game set. And we know how good New York typically is with Aaron Judge. So hope everyone is having a happy Mother's Day. And again, we're going to be here for the next 2.5 to 3 hours. And hopefully we can finish off this afternoon with a Mariner victory. Now let's cue up the music, take a look at the thumb, and let's get settled in for some Sunday afternoon baseball. Let's get it. And on the thumb, on the left, shortstop Bo Bichette. And on the right, our catcher, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Now let's get into the starting lineups here first for the visiting Toronto Blue Jays. Leading off for the Blue Jays at shortstop, Bo Bichette. Batting second, playing first base, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Batting third, playing third base, Addison Barger. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, DHing for the Blue Jays, George Springer. Batting fifth, catching today for Toronto, Alejandro Kirk. Batting sixth, playing right field, Nathan Lucas. Batting seventh, playing second base, Ernie Clement. Batting eighth, playing center field, Miles Straw. And batting ninth, the former Seattle Mariner left fielder, Jonathan Clase. And on the mound for the Blue Jays with a 0-0 record, but an ERA of 8.59, Jose Urena. And now let's get into the starting lineups for your Seattle Mariners. Leading off for the Mariners at shortstop, J.P. Crawford. Batting second, playing center field, Julio Rodriguez. Batting third, DHing today for Seattle, big dumper Cal Raleigh. Batting cleanup, batting fourth, left fielder Randy Arozarena. Batting fifth, playing first base, Rowdy Tellez. Batting sixth, catching today for the Mariners, Mitch Garver. Batting seventh, playing right field, Leody Taveras. Batting eighth, playing third base, Miles Mastrobuoni. And batting ninth, playing second base, Dylan Moore. And on the mound for the Mariners with a 2-3 record, an ERA of 4.15. It's Miller time, Bryce Miller. And we're going to need a good outing out of Bryce. You know, these last 2 games, you know, starting pitching was a little shaky in game number 1. In game number 2, I thought Logan Evans last night, even though I wasn't able to stream it since we were doing WWE Backlash there in St. Louis, I watched the game in entirety, and I thought that, you know, Logan Evans starting, pitcher for the Mariners did a good job, but then Vargas, in the bullpen kind of blew it for us. And again, everyone knows bullpen struggles, and, again, starting pitching can be great, right? But again, you still have to be able to have that second part of the game, and you have to finish strong. So just because you have a strong first 5 or 6 innings doesn't mean that you're going to hang on if your bullpen stinks, in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. And unfortunately for the Mariners, Vargas kind of blew it for us last night and ended the streak. If we were able to win yesterday and win today, this would have been our 10th consecutive series and the most that we've done since 2001, where we did 15 in a row. The streak ends at 9 consecutive series wins. But again, we want to make sure we prevent from getting swept. And we've really only been swept once this year at the Giants early in the season when Victor Robles got hurt. And then we went on an amazing run. So we got to win this game because we have 3 games in a row here at T-Mobile versus the New York Yankees and Aaron Judge. And I know that the Athletics have been able to push them around a little bit last night. But again, Athletics are a good team. The Mariners are a good team. The Yankees are a good team. And, we may end up seeing the Yankees in the playoffs this year. But before we talk about playoffs, we need to talk about this afternoon and Bryce Miller. He hasn't really been the pitcher that we thought he was going to be so far. 2-3 record, 4.15 ERA, a whip of 1.47. K, per 9 innings is 8.3. Opponent average is 252. We just need to be able to get the bats to come alive for Bryce, and hopefully we can do that this afternoon. Happy Mother's Day 2025, and hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Let's go Mariners. And we'll be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour, 30 to 50 overall, and 100 in the donos on every single stream. On the mound for the Mariners, like I mentioned, will be Bryce Miller, and leading it off for the Blue Jays, shortstop Bo Bichette. On deck, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and batting third baseman Addison Barger. Let's go Mariners. Let's go, baby. Got to prevent from getting swept. I'm ready. All the good luck charms are here. Let's go, baby. All right, first pitch to Bo Bichette. Four-seam fastball fouled off, 0-1 count. And we got to be able to get some Ks early and often, and hopefully we can do that here this afternoon. 0-1 pitch. Low and away with a four-seam fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike from Miller to Bichette. 1-1 pitch. Pitch is low and at the knees with a four-seam fastball. 2 balls and 1 strike to Bo Bichette from Bryce Miller. Shout out to all the new subs that we've acquired within the last few days, the last few weeks, the last few months, and as well in 2025. Appreciate you guys very, very much. 2-1 pitch in play. And grounds out to the shortstop, J.P. Crawford, throw to first, 1 away. Good defense there by the Mariners. Next up for the Blue Jays, first baseman, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Let's go, Bryce. First pitch, inside, tried to jam the hitter. Four-seam fastball, takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. And we'll be shooting for 20 likes within the first hour. And the faster that we can get to 20 will help us, obviously, hit the algorithm through YouTube. It'd be greatly appreciated if you could do that. 0-1 pitch, right down the middle, takes the strike swinging. Big swing and a miss by Vlad. Behind in the count now, 0-2. Let's go, Bryce. We need you. We got the Sunday creams on here today. Blue Jays rocking the all grays. And hopefully we can find a way to get a good victory here and prevent the sweep from coming out. Top of the first, 0-0, Blue Jays and Mariners. Toronto ended up taking the first 2 games in the set. And that was unfortunate. I was really hoping that we would get our 10th consecutive series win. But again, we did pretty good when we played them in the beginning of the year in Toronto, winning game 1 3-1, winning game 2 8-4, and then winning game 3 8-3. So we found a way, or Blue Jays won game 1 3-1, and then we won game 2 and 3 8-4 and 8-3, excuse me. So 2 out of 3, and then now the Blue Jays may end up winning 2 out of 3, and both games, game 1 and game 2, coincidentally ended it with a same score of 6-3. That doesn't happen too often. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Last pitch was inside at the head with a 4-seam fastball. STL in the building. What's good, my guy? How are you? Happy Mother's Day. 2-2 pitch. Fouled off with a 4-seam fastball high and inside. Tried to jam the hitter. Come on, Bryce. You need to be able to try to get a few Ks, within the first 3 innings, if possible. We got to be able to slow the damage down. And again, typically 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits is the magic number, for the Mariners. But the bats really haven't been as alive in this particular series compared to the previous 9. We haven't really seen a lot of homers in this particular series at home, and hopefully that will change because we got the Yankees on deck tomorrow, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And if you're not careful and the Yankees punch you in the mouth early and often, you easily could get swept or only win 1 out of 3. So this is a must-win game here for Seattle. Pitch is low and away with the knuckle curve by Bryce. Counting is full, 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out and nobody on. And we have to prevent the sweep. Let's go M's. Trident's up. Top of the first with 1 out. In play on a 3-2 pitch. And Guerrero grounds out to second, throws to first, 2 away. Good start here for the Mariners. Next up, third baseman Addison Barger. Let's go, Bryce. First pitch, takes a strike swinging, high and away. 4-seam fastball, 95 miles an hour by Bryce. I like what I'm seeing. 0-1 count. And we definitely need Logan Gilbert and George Kirby to come back, as well as better performances in the pen. It's really cost us these last 2 games. And again, everyone has these problems if you're an MLB fan, where you end up playing well with the starter, then the bullpen comes in and fucks everything up. And Vargas did that for us last night, which was very disappointing, but we still have a chance to try to win this one here today. And Barger grounds out to first, and there we go. We get out of the inning unscathed, and that's what I like to see. Let's see who's up next here at the bottom of the first for the Seattle Mariners. Nice job, Bryce. Way to not give up 1 to 3 runs in the first inning and have us, looking up at the scoreboard early. Leading off for the Mariners, shortstop J.P. Crawford. On deck, center fielder Julio Rodriguez, who's starting to heat up in May. A drastic improvement from what we saw in March and April. Keep it up, Julio. And batting third, DHing for the Mariners, big jumper Cal Raleigh. Hasn't hit a homer in a couple days. He's definitely due. Not sure if he'll get it here today or against the Yankees. Obviously starting tomorrow, but we need the bats to come alive. And really, I think my only gripe about the Mariners right now is that Leo Rivas should be playing every day. And they kind of treat him as like kind of a sixth man, but sometimes not even a sixth man because he's not even playing necessarily every day. Every once in a while, they'll have him pinch run or pinch hit, but not every day. And I know that Demo, started off hot, but again, and there's only so many spots that are going to be available for a guy like Rivas. Typically second base is where he would play with JP at short, but they've decided to go with Dylan Moore. And Dylan was hot early on, but starting to cool off a little bit. And hopefully we'll be able to see a little bit more of Leo Rivas. And if he would have played in the last couple days, maybe we wouldn't have lost, game 1 and game 2, 6-3 to the Blue Jays. So hopefully, we can end up getting a little bit more Leo Rivas. But other than that, bullpen has been, kind of an issue, but you could say that for any team. And hopefully the bats can come alive, and we're definitely going to need to try to shoot for 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits here this afternoon. But no Polo, no Rivas, no Solano, no Ben Williamson. at least to start off the game. In the box, J.P. Crawford, and on the mound, like I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, Jose Urena. 0-0 record for Urena and 8.59 ERA. So we should be able to find a way to rough him up early and often. The key word is should, but we don't know if we will. First pitch to J.P. Crawford. Oh, baby, hits the gap all the way to left. Go, go, go. Yes, a double for J.P. Crawford. I love that. And again, being aggressive on the first pitch, you got to make sure that you're connecting. And nice job by J.P. to get us in a good position early. I love it. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. First pitch from Urena to Julio Rodriguez. Low and inside in the zone, fouled off. 0-1 count. Come on, J-Rod. We need you, baby. And you've been much better in May compared to March and April. Trident's up. Let's go. Bring that electricity to the lineup. You get a nice single here. We could have it be 1-0 right out of the gates. Oh, 1 pitch. And Rodriguez popped out to second. 1 away. We're going to need you, Julio, later in this matchup. Next up, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Stuck at that 12 home run number, and hopefully we can find a way to get those numbers to increase here today. Let's go, Cal. Trident's up. Let's get it. First pitch to Cal Raleigh, low and away with the changeup. 1-0 count. Bottom of the first, 1 out, runner at second, J.P. Crawford with a first pitch double. 1-0 pitch, low and outside at the knees. 2-0 count from Urena to Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Bottom of the first, 0-0, Blue Jays and Mariners. J.P. Crawford with a first pitch of the game, crushed it into left field for a double. Cal Raleigh, 243 average, 12 homers, 25 ribbies. Definitely a top 5 MVP candidate early in the season. And this is Cal Raleigh's team, not Julio Rodriguez's team. And again, the most valuable player on the team has been Cal for many, many years. Takes a strike swinging. 2 balls and 1 strike from Urena to big dumper. 2-1 pitch. Pitch is low and away. Count now is 3 balls and 1 strike with 1 out, with the runner at second, J.P. Crawford. Come on, Cal. Take the walk if they give it to you. Let's go, big dumper. Bottom of the first, runner at second with 1 out. And there we go. Good eye by Cal Raleigh. And that is a walk. Here we go. Runners at first and second. Cal at first, JP at second. We got to be able to manufacture runs early in the matchup if we want to prevent from being swept. Next up, left fielder Randy Arozarena. And Randy has been way overdue for a homer. Could it happen here? I hope so. Let's go, Randy. First pitch, low and at the knees with a sinker. 0-1 count from Urena to Randy Arozarena. Come on, baby. Let's go. Oh, 1 pitch. Takes a strike looking at the bottom corner. Tries to jam the hitter again. Finding the count now 0-2 from Urena to Randy Arozarena. Come on, Randy. Happy Mother's Day 2025. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Nothing would make this Mother's Day complete without a Mariner victory. 0-2 pitch. Pitch is low and away. Change up 90 miles an hour by Urena. 1 ball and 2 strikes with runners at first and second for the Seattle Mariners. Captain in the building. What's good, brother? And again, I ended up watching yesterday's matchup after WWE Backlash there in St. Louis. And I thought Logan Evans pitched great. He gave up the 2-run homer, which sucked. And then Gabe came in and then it ended up being 3-3. But, that was a game that we should have won. And Vargas fucked it all up, in the pen. And that's kind of been the story for the Mariners. You've got to get typically 5 runs, 7 to 10 hits. Otherwise, you're not going to win. Randy pops out to first, 2 away. But even if we would have scored 5 in game 1 and game 2, we still would have lost 6-5 because we lost 6-3 in both. But Vargas definitely fucked it up for us last night. And I was really shooting for our 10th consecutive series win. Now we just have to prevent from being swept. First time that we've been in this position since we got swept by the Giants on the road. The Giants are a playoff team. I'm not sure about this Toronto Blue Jay team, if they're going to be a playoff team. Maybe, maybe not. But hopefully pitching will be a little bit better here with Bryce. And the bats can come alive. It seems like in this homestand with Toronto, we haven't really been able to hit too many homers. And, we haven't really seen Demo and Polo and some of the guys that we've been able to count on lately. They've been kind of sluggish and a little off. And so I think that we need to be playing Leo Rivas a little more. That's really my only gripe right now. Pitches inside, 2 balls and 1 strike to Rowdy Gillette. Appreciate you, Captain. Happy Mother's Day 2025. Stacks on stacks. Racks on racks with a little Cactus Jack bang bang. And awesome to see Rowdy Tellez, being able to get us some homers. But, besides him, and I'm happy that Julio is actually turning his season around. He's having a great May compared to March and April. But again, the homers that we were used to getting in the first 9 series, they kind of disappeared this series. And again, if we're going to end up sticking with guys like Dylan Moore, when you have a capable guy like Leo Rivas that really hasn't been playing, and that guy could really help you win. So, that's really my only gripe. I know we have so many positions for only so many players, but Debo was hot early on. He's kind of cooled off. I think we should have played Leo these last 2 games, including today. He deserves to be an everyday player. Pitches low and away. Count now is full from Urania to Rowdy Tellez. 3 balls and 2 strikes with runners at first and second with 2 outs. We need to try to be able to get at least 1 run if we can here. We obviously know with Rowdy, it's usually a home run or, usually an out. And down goes Rowdy Tellez. We leave 2 stranded. JP with the first pitch double. We can't cash in. Cal getting walked. But again, at least we get guys on base early. And Urania's got an ERA of almost 9. So, we should be able to win this game, you would think. But, again, we have to make sure that we're, roughing up Urania and not treating him as if his ERA is like, 1.59 or 2.59. His ERA is 8.59. So, hopefully the bats can come alive as Rowdy Tellez pops out and we leave 2 stranded. End of the first inning, 0-0 here on Mother's Day 2025. Let's see who's up next here for the Blue Jays. And, Captain, let me know what you want to do for photos. I got you. Next up for the Blue Jays, DHing for Toronto, having a bounce-back season from struggling last year. He's been awesome, George Springer. Batting second, catching on deck, Alejandro Kirk. And batting third, right fielder Nathan Lucas. And on the mound for the Mariners with the 2-3 record, an ERA of 4.15, Bryce Miller. And it would be great if he can get the dub here today to get that record to 500. And then the next win would put him at 4-3, and that's where he should be. He hasn't really been able to get a whole lot of run support, and he's been a little bit shaky. But you could say that our whole starting 5, even our best, Brian Wu, has been shaky in early innings, but usually settle down and settle in once we get to like the 3rd or 4th inning if they're getting roughed up in the first 2 innings. But, we definitely need Logan Gilbert and George Kirby back ASAP. I got you. Good luck to your Thunder. I hope you guys win it all this year. And SGA wins MVP. That's what I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for SGA. I hope it happens. We get a couple cows up here for my boy, Captain. A true OG to the channel. Appreciate you. And we need Cal the homer. He's been a little quiet, right? He's been a little quiet as of late, so I figured I'd put him on the thumb even though I thought he'd be DHing today, which he is. But again, we need the home runs, badly, and hopefully we can get it sooner than later. Good old Big Dumper. That's our guy. First pitch in play for George Springer, and grounded out to the pitcher, throw to first. Got him, 1 away. Next up, catcher Alejandro Kirk. Let's see if I can sprinkle in a couple more Cal photos here. Appreciate you, my guy. We definitely could use this. Let's go, baby. Big jumper, Trident's up. Let's go, Bryce. First pitch. Bryce right down the pipe, 94 miles an hour, takes the strike looking, 0-1 count. Top of the second, 0-0 Blue Jays and Mariners. And, I wish I was able to do Backlash and the Mariner game yesterday, but Backlash, kind of ended right when the game was starting, so I didn't have enough time, but I ended up watching that entire game with Paisley, and unfortunately we came out with the L last night. 0-1 pitch, takes another strike looking, sinker in the zone, behind in the count 0-2. Bryce looking pretty sharp early on. I like it. And 0-2 pitch, big swing and a miss, tries to jam the hitter and does. Nice job, Bryce. Anytime you can get Bryce Miller with Ks early, it might be an electric outing. We might be able to get 7 to 10 Ks out of Bryce today. At least I'm hoping so. Let's go. But even if he only has 4 or 5, that might be good enough to win. Down goes Alejandro Kirk. 1 away. 2 away. After Springer in the ground out. Next up, right fielder Nathan Lukes. Top of the second, 0-0. 2 outs, nobody on. Miller on the mound. Lucas, in the box. Yeah, and I thought, Logan Evans, he pitched well. He seems like he pitches much better at home than on the road, because both outings at home, he looked good, but then when he went on the road, he looked like shit. So, and again, I feel bad because, we did have the lead when he exited, but again, if you end up having shitty pen, or you don't have guys pitch long enough, like, why are we only pitching Gabe Spire 1 inning and having guys like Vargas pitch 2? And Lucas singles to left on a 1-0 pitch. Nice single there by Nathan. Next up, second baseman Ernie Clement. And I get it, with like guys like Brash, who's just coming off Tommy John, and we know Gabe Spire is reliable most of the time. And we have the best closer in baseball in Andres Munoz. But for, Bizardo and all these other guys that we have, Vargas, why are we pitching him 2 innings? Like, we should be pitching Gabe Spire 2 innings and Vargas like 1 inning. Like, what has he done to prove that he can actually get out of jams, and he hasn't, so I feel like Dan Wilson, again, we only have so many guys in the pen, but we need better players. And I'm not sure if that means we need to call some guys up from the farm, but a lot of the guys in the farm, are young and inexperienced, but it can't really get any worse than what we're getting from some of the guys that we have right now. First pitch from Miller to Clement, fouls it off, tries to jam him at the knees, 0-1 count. Top of the second, runner at first with 2 outs, 0-0 game. Let's go, baby. And Tellez, if he weighed 5 or 10 less pounds, maybe he would have caught that in foul territory. Come on, baby. We need to make sure that we're hustling hard for every foul ball attempt. Let's go, baby. Top of the second, runner at first. 0-1 pitch. In play. And Clement singles to right. Lucas goes to third. Runners now on the corners at first and third with 2 outs. We need to get out of this jam. Nice single here. Nice single here. Next up, center fielder Miles Straw. We have to get out of this inning. We can't get down 1-0, 2-0 early on. Happy Mother's Day, my guy. Appreciate you. First pitch from Miller to Straw. At the knees, fouled off. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch from Miller to Straw. Fouls it off. Right down the pipe. Behind in the count now, 0-2. Appreciate that. Yeah, if you can keep up with that, that would be great. With the donos and the lights. 9 more likes to 20. Let's get there. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. And again, the faster that we can get to 20 likes, the faster that we can hit the algorithm for YouTube to recommend the game to others that are looking for, baseball to watch. And that can obviously help us with likes, subs, views, donos, and just overall support to the channel. 0-2 pitch, fouled off. Into the crowd. Count remains 0-2. Top of the second, runners on the corners at first and third with 2 out. Miller on the mound. Miles Straw in the box. Got to be able to punch him out here. Come on, Ems. Trident's up. Griffey loves it. I got my Ichiro over here. I got my Griffey. I got the Trident. I got the chain. Let's go, baby. Pitches outside with that knuckle curve. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Straw. Come on, M. Come on, Bryce. Rocking the Sunday creams. Looking pretty swaggy and fresh out there. Blue Jays rocking the all gray. Gray top and gray bottom. And I definitely want the grays to come back as if, the jersey that I'm wearing right now, the throwback Griffey. Uh-oh. And Straw singles to center. Lucas scores. Clement to second. Nice RBI single there by Miles Straw. And the struggles for our pitching continue. George Kirby and Logan Gilbert, please get healthy, and we should be able to see them shortly. But it seems like almost a broken record with us here. Next up, for the Toronto Blue Jays, the former Seattle Mariner left fielder Jonathan Clase. We got to be able to get him out, you would think. Blue Jays have been pretty hot as of late, so it's a combination, of them hitting well and then our pitching struggling a little bit. And again, it's like, you got Brian Wu, you got Luis Castillo, you got Bryce Miller, and then you got the newbies and Emerson Hancock and Logan Evans. So it's, it's nowhere near what we're used to with our pitching. And then on top of that, the bullpen has been really struggling for the most part. So besides obviously our closer, Andres Munoz, but as long as we can keep it, respectable, and we don't get down, by more than 5 runs, late, so that we don't have to make this like epic comeback. It should be fine. And normal starting pitchers are going to give up typically 1 to 3 runs, but, you just don't want to see it early. Clase pops out to third. Miles Mastroboni is there. And we get out of the inning, but we don't get it out unscathed. A nice RBI there by Straw, and now we're down 1-0. Let's see if the bats can come alive for the Mariners here on Mother's Day. Let's go. Good defense there by Miles. Next up for the Mariners, catcher Mitch Garver. Batting second from the Rangers, right fielder Leody Taveras. And it seems like he's found a home in Seattle. He's been playing well for us since we brought him in and kind of filled that spot that normally Victor Robles would be playing. And batting third baseman Miles Mastroboni. Hope we get Leo Rivas, in this game, because, I want guys that can bunt. I want guys that are good at defense. I want guys that have speed on the bags. I want just smart baseball players. And, I do love Demo as well, but I feel like sticking with Demo and leaving Rivas on the bench and not really having him play is hurting the team. It's like you don't want to have a guy that's got a good batting average, that's a smart player, not playing at all. Or having him pinch run, for someone late in the game. He deserves better. He deserves to be playing every day, in my opinion. Let's go Mariners. All right, first pitch from Urania to Mitch Garver, fouled off, tried to jam the hitter. And even guys, that we had frustrations with Mitch Garver and Jorge Polanco. Obviously, Polo's been amazing this year. But with Garv, he's been getting better in 2025. 0-1 pitch. And he gets it in play to second, throw to first, 1 away. But again, it's like, last year, it's like he had no confidence in Garver. This year, he's actually been doing pretty good, based on what he did last year. Again, he could be better, but again, hopefully he'll be able to get us a hit or two before this game is up. We're going to need it. Got to get that batting average up, though, only at 214, and he's overdue for a homer, too. Next up is Leody Taveras. First pitch to Taveras from Urania. Pitches outside, fouled off with the sinker, 0-1 count. Come on, Leody. And I like the fact that Leody is a switch hitter as well. We got a couple of those on the team, so we need to use them. Pitches inside. 2 balls and 1 strike from Urania to Taveras. Come on, Leody. And the best way to become a fan favorite is to produce early and often. And again, getting RBIs and nice critical base knocks pretty often for us, which is good. Taveras popped out to the shortstop, 2 away. Next up, third baseman Miles Mastroboni. First pitch from Urania to Mastroboni on the line, takes a strike looking with a sinker, 97 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Come on, Miles. Oh, 0-1 pitch, fouled off with the changeup. Out of the zone, behind in the count now 0-2. And Jose Urania, 0-0 record with an ERA of 8.59. Come on, Mariners. Bottom of the second with nobody on, 1-0 Blue Jays. Urania on the mound. Miles Mastroboni in the box. Let's go, Miles. And Mastroboni is out. Rough start here for the Mariners here on Mother's Day 2025, but I still have the confidence that we can battle back and find a way to win. Let's see who's up next here in the top of the third for the Toronto Blue Jays. Next up for the Blue Jays, 0-1 shortstop Bo Bichette. Batting second, 0-1 first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on deck. And batting third baseman 0-1 Addison Barger. And on the mound for the Mariners, 2-3 record, ERA of 4.15, Bryce Miller. Let's go over some of the stats early on here. Bryce, 2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 earned run, only 1 K, 29 pitches, 20 strikes, ERA of 4.17. And then obviously with Jose Urania, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, no Ks. So you're not really going to be getting probably a lot of strikeouts from either guy here today. A lot of stuff that will be in play. But we have to be able to manufacture back-to-back-to-back hits or get a couple homers either on Urania or in the bullpen. 6 likes to 20. Let's get there. We're at 14. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet here on Happy Mother's Day 2025, please do. And again, we'll be shooting for 100 in the donos as well. We're at 10, 90 to go. 1-0 Blue Jays. Let's go, baby. And I want to see some bunts laid down by the Mariners. Like, I feel like, we've been kind of getting away from what was working for us, and Polo has cooled off a little bit. Cal has cooled off. Julio has gotten hot. JP continues to stay hot. But again, when we were on our 9 series, game winning streak, again, you had about more than half of the lineup that was raking. And then now, we're getting down to maybe a couple that are still hot, but then others have cooled off.
And if that's the case, you need to be able to move the lineup around and get guys like Leo Ribas a chance to be able to shine. So hopefully Dan Wilson will take some notes on that. And again, we got the Yankees on a 3-game set at T-Mobile tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's not going to get any easier. If anything, it's going to get harder than this particular series. First pitch from Miller to Bichette, low and away with a sinker, 95 miles an hour, 1-0 count. Hell yeah, bro, 42-35. Let's go Thunder. 1-0 pitch, sinker, low, and out of the zone as again, 93 miles an hour, 2-0 count from Miller to Bichette. What's SGA got for points so far? 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone with a 4-seam fastball by Miller, 94 miles an hour. 2 balls and 1 strike to Bo Bichette. 2-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging, big swing and a miss on a 4-seam fastball right down the pipe. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Bo Bichette. Let's go, Bryce. It's Miller time, baby. We need you. Let's go. 2-2 pitch, fouled off, high and inside at the head. Tried to jam the hitter there. Count remains 2-2. Top of the third, 1-0 Blue Jays. Here on Mother's Day 2025. And if you're just entering the stream, no home runs yet, but Straw singled to center. Lucas scored Clement to second to give him that RBI single. And that ended up being one of the 3 hits that the Blue Jays have got so far. Mariners only have 1 hit at the moment. And hopefully that will change as the game goes along. 2-2 pitch, knuckle curve, got him. There we go. Nice punch out there by Bryce Miller. There we go, baby. Got to get at least a strikeout per inning, preferably more than 1 if you can. Nice job, Miller. It's Miller time, baby. The shot strikes out looking. Next up, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Top of the third, 1-0 Blue Jays with 1 out. Matt in the building. What's good, brother? First pitch from Miller to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Fouled off with the slider. 0-1 count. Got to get all the good luck charms going here today, especially with these last 2 games that have been pretty rough. 0-1 pitch. Pitch is at the hips. Inside with the knuckle curve. 1 ball and 1 strike from Miller to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Oh, 1 pitch, knuckle curve, 1 ball and 1 strike from Miller to Guerrero. 1-1 pitch, and Vladdy pops out to the shortstop, 2 away. Next up, third baseman in the 3-hole, Addison Barger. First pitch from Miller to Barger, takes a strike swinging inside at the knees. 0-1 count with that slider, 86 miles an hour. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Pitch is high and away with that cutter. 1 ball and 1 strike from Miller to Barger. Pitch is fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Barger. 216 average, no homers and 7 ribbies for Barger so far here in 2025. We're in the top of the third, 1-0 Blue Jays. We lost game 1, 6-3. We lost game 2 last night, 6-3. And we don't want to get swept. We've only been swept once this year, by the Giants early in the season, who is a playoff team. And again, we got a 3-game set against the Yankees starting tomorrow, and we will live stream all 3 of those matchups. Definitely excited every time we play against the Yankees. It's always a challenge going against Aaron Judge, but hopefully we'll bring our A game and the competitive juices will be flowing. And down goes Barger. Grounds out to second, throw to first. There we go. All right, see who's up next here in the bottom of the third for the Seattle Mariners. Yeah, I saw that this morning. Me and Odin were talking about it. You know, he's actually one of like my, top 10 all-time favorites. I always enjoyed, hardcore wrestling with Sabu and RVD. I always loved, WCW, for the NWO, WWF and WWE had DX and Stone Cold and The Rock and Mankind and Undertaker. And I appreciated, what they had there. But I was kind of more a WCW guy, an NWO guy. But really, the wrestling that I enjoyed to watch the most, even though it was the, lowest promotion, was ECW. Even though they didn't have the money or the glitz or the glam, the hardcore wrestling was so unique. It made WWE and WCW look so tame. And again, Sabu passing away today at 60, such a young guy. And again, I got a lot of VHS of Sabu, a lot of DVDs of Sabu from back in the day. Rest in peace in wrestling heaven, my guy. You were a one of one. No one will ever be able to replace you and the way that you wrestled. And one of the toughest sons of bitches that has ever walked on planet Earth in the wrestling ring. I mean, barbed wire matches, blood, you name it, he did it. Love me some Sabu. Next up for the Mariners, here in the bottom of the third, second baseman Dylan Moore. Batting second, shortstop, 1-for-1 with a double on the first pitch of the game, J.P. Crawford. And batting third, 0-for-1 center fielder Julio Rodriguez, who's been much, much better, in May. And again, going into yesterday's game, they had a really crazy stat. Remember how Julio used to strike out over and over and over? The longest Julio went through a period of games before striking out in the past was only 3 games. And then going into yesterday's game, he had 7 complete games without even striking out once. So, it definitely shows you that, yeah, he's still a little bit overly aggressive, on the first 2 pitches and getting into those 0-2 counts, but at least he's connecting and he's not striking out as often as he did earlier in his career, which is a good sign for Mariner fans as well as Julio Rodriguez fans. Pitches outside, 2 balls and 1 strike from Urania to Dylan Moore. And again, Dylan Moore was very hot for us at the beginning of the year. I think I would rather see Leo Rivas, get some more playing time. But again, there's just, only so many positions for so many guys. But hopefully Leo will be able to pinch hit in the game later on for Demo. And maybe he'll be the guy that, changes everything here today. In play on the 2-1 pitch. Back. See ya! There we go, Demo. That's what I'm talking about. You're overdue, my guy. And Dylan Moore makes the most of his time. Demo with a homer. 1-1, Blue Jays and Mariners. Demo, baby. Thank God. There we go. Because I was going to say, if he didn't end up having a good game today, they may have to consider, throwing Rivas there at second. But just as you feel like maybe a guy will get benched for another, like Rowdy Tellez possibly going to AAA, then he started hitting homers. So there you go. I'll take it, Demo. Nice fucking job, dude. You've been a little cold lately, and nice to be able to get the game tied up on Mother's Day. Hell of a job, Dylan Moore. Way to bring that electricity. Next up, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Let's go. And they're having a mound visit with Urania there. And wow, they're just going to pull him. He just gave up 1 home run, and then that was it. Wow, that's crazy. Maybe this will be good for us here. Trident's up, baby. Let's go, baby. We got to be able to use the trident, you know what I mean? Let's go, baby. And again, at this point, home runs have not been a premium for us. So again, even a solo jack, is huge for us, considering, we've been kind of looking up at the scoreboard the last 2 games. And, yesterday, was a game that we should have won, period. But again, it's like, first 5 or 6 innings, you feel pretty good. But then when the bullpen comes in, you kind of hold your breath and you're almost anticipating the worst. Now, we believe in Andres Munoz, but other than that, we like Brash, we like Gabe Spire, but as far as anybody else, they feel kind of like a liability rather than an asset. Like Bizzardo will play good one game, terrible the next. Vargas, not my cup of tea. Obviously we don't have to worry about Trent Thornton at the moment because he's injured. Troy Taylor doesn't look good. He definitely needs to go back to AAA. So it's like you got a lot of guys, that have some name recognition, but we'll see if this ends up being a mistake for the Blue Jays, but they decide that giving up only 1 home run, and Urania actually was doing all right. I mean, his ERA was 8.59, but, it's not like, we have 5 runs on him at this point. So he gives up a homer and they pull him. You don't usually see that, but again, that tells me that the Blue Jays are trying to sweep us. They're trying to eliminate any chance, that we have. And now we have Eric Lauer coming in, and hopefully we'll fuck up Lauer. First pitch of J.P. Crawford, inside at the head, 1-0 count, bottom of the third, 1-1, Blue Jays and Mariners. In the top of the second, Miles Straw had an RBI single to center, and Lucas scored to make it 1-0. And then just a minute ago, Dylan Moore, big homer to left center, 403 feet, and we're knotted up at 1, baby. 1-0 pitch, pitches low and away, 2-0 count to J.P. Crawford. Come on, J.P. 2-0 pitch, takes a strike looking in the zone on the line. 2 balls and 1 strike from Lauer to J.P. Come on, J.P. Let's go, Crawdaddy, we need you. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. Only 5 more likes to get to 20 to hit the algorithm for YouTube. It would be greatly appreciated. That'll get recommendations from them to others that are looking to watch baseball here on Mother's Day 2025. In play, and JP grounds out to second, throw to first, 1 away. And we're at 10 on the dono train, 90 to go. Next up, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. March and April, not very good. In May, he's been hot, and we want him to continue to stay hot, especially since Polo and a few others have cooled off just a little bit. Let's go, Julio, Trident's up. First pitch, low and at the knees, takes a strike swinging with the curve. He got baited there by Lauer. 0-1 count. Come on, Julio. But I am happy to hear that, the strikeouts have, it's one thing if you're, getting pop outs and ground outs and you're making contact, rather than striking out. So, Julio is too good of a player to not improve. And, traditionally he struggles in the first couple months, and then May, June, July, August really starts to ramp it up, and we're going to need it. And Alejandro Kirk is down on one knee. Trainers are looking at him, the catcher for the Blue Jays. Hopefully he's okay. Yeah, Spike Dudley, Mankind, Sabu. Yeah, you could definitely argue that those might be 3 of, the toughest, that are out there to put their body in harm's way. And, especially, with Spike, only weighing like $150. I mean, everyone that threw him around, made him look like a rag doll. And obviously we've seen him getting power bombed through, multiple tables, tables on fire, getting power bombed outside of the ring, onto the ground, not even on a fucking mat. I got a lot of memories, of the Dudleys, Devon and Bubba, including Spike. And they're still looking at Alejandro Kirk right now, his jaw, it looks like. Take a live look in at the NASCAR Cup Series there in Kansas City. Let me dive in. I got to watch stage one. What are we at now? 99 to go. Lap 169. Larson, Elliott, Blaney. Okay. All right, let me put that to the side here. And they're just trying to warm up here and get a couple pitches to Alejandro Kirk. All right, 0-1 pitch. Fouled off with the four-seam fastball. Behind in the count now, 0-2. Come on, Julio. Come on, Chase. Napa know-how. Bottom of the third, 1-1 Blue Jays and Mariners. Lauer on the bump. Julio in the box. Pitches low and away. With the change up there, 86 miles an hour by Lauer. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Julio Rodriguez. Kyle Larson, stage 1 and stage 2 winner. He's been pretty dominant in 2025 for NASCAR in the Cup Series. 2-2 pitch, curve, fouled off, 77 miles an hour. Low and inside at the knees. Lauer, the lefty, trying to bait Julio any way that he can. Come on, Julio. I mean, I'll take a walk. We'll take anything positive here. Pitch is high and outside. Count now is full. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out and nobody on. Lauer coming in for Urania here in the third, even though he only gave up a homer, which is kind of odd. You know, you typically don't see a guy get pulled when they just give up a run. That's it. And it's not like the Mariners got 10 hits right now, you know, but again, they are definitely trying to sweep us. You know, they don't want, you know, anything positive on the Mariner side, but we'll see. And a big swing and a miss. And Julio strikes out swinging, which is a rare thing nowadays. Thank God. But we're going to need that bat to, you know, lighten up later in the matchup if we're going to win. Next up, DHing for the Mariners, big dumper Cal Raleigh. He's been stuck at 12 homers for quite some time. We would love for Cal to go yard here this afternoon. Trident's up. Let's go, Cal. First at bat, he did get walked. First pitch, high and outside with a big swing and a miss. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch from Lauer to big dumper, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Lauer to big dumper, Cal Raleigh. Bottom of the third, 1-1 Blue Jays and Mariners. Luckily, Demo, you know, who started to cool off a little bit, got hot and got a solo jack to tie the game up. And it's always good when you can tie the game up within the first 3 to 4 innings instead of having to make that late rally in the 7th, 8th, and 9th. But again, you know, only scoring 2 or 3 runs ain't going to cut it against this team in the Toronto Blue Jays. Pitches low and away. 3 balls and 1 strike from Lauer to big dumper. We might get another walk here for Cal. Let's go, M's. Trident's up. Good to see you, my guy. And there is the walk. Now we just got to be able to knock them in. 2 walks for Cal Raleigh early on. And a guy that has been very streaky, like Julio Rodriguez, who, you know, we are looking for him to start to kind of ramp up. Left fielder Randy Arozarena. I mean, this would be a great time for a homer or even just an RBI if we can get it. Come on, Randy. First pitch, low and at the knees with a 4-seam fastball. 1-0 count from Lauer to Randy Arozarena. .233 average, 5 homers and 20 ribbies. Again, kind of a similar stat line with Julio as well. Both of them, are good enough to be a 280 to 300 hitter, as we get closer to summer. And again, very streaky, both of them, but Julio has been heating up. We're still waiting for Randy to have that moment as well. And hopefully he can do something here at this at-bat and later in the game. We need him. Especially, no Ryan Bliss, no Victor Robles. Again, Demo was out for quite some time. We still have no Luke Raley, but we've had other guys step up. And bringing in Leody Taveras seems like it was a good move. And hopefully we can get some of these other guys that are hot, that, their good luck can rub off on some of these other players and we can get back to business. Throw to first and he's safe. You're not going to get Cal. 1-0 pitch. Pitch is high and away with a four-seam fastball, 92 miles an hour from Lauer, the lefty, to Randy Arozarena. 2-0 count. Let's see if we can maybe force another walk here. Let's go. I don't think the NFL is declining. NFL is always going to be popular, no matter what. NBA is declining, but everything else, MLB and NHL and NBA, it's kind of a niche, market. It's either you have a connection to the sport or you don't. It's either you like NBA, NHL, MLB, or you don't, And I feel like with football and wrestling, it's the easiest to watch, and there's always going to be the most fans, for NFL, college football, and wrestling. So, and Randy cannot cash in, and Cal Raleigh gets caught stealing at second. Brutal. Oh, end of the third inning, and we're knotted up still at 1. Obviously, we need to get, runners in scoring position, but maybe not having Cal run there was the smartest decision there. And a good throw by Alejandro Kirk, and Cal coming in, obviously feet first instead of head first, and getting caught out there. All right, well, at least Demo got the homer, so at least it wasn't, a failed inning altogether. Now let's go to the top of the fourth inning and see who's up next here for the Blue Jays. I got NASCAR Cup Series on as well. 95 laps to go at Kansas. Lap 173, and my guy, Chase Elliott, at the top with his teammate Kyle Larson at number 2. Napa know-how. Let's go. Next up for the Blue Jays, DHing in the 4-hole, 0 for 1, George Springer. Batting second, catcher, 0 for 1 with a K, Alejandro Kirk. And batting third, 1 for 1 with a run, right fielder, Nathan Lucas. Let's go Mariners. Let's go, Chase. We need you, baby. Yeah. I mean, the NBA playoffs, obviously, you're going to get more ratings than you are in the regular season. Same thing goes with the NHL. You're definitely going to get a spike in viewership, once you actually have games that mean something and you get a little bit more effort, especially with the NBA. Those guys are, coddled, and, it feels like, they just play when they want to. You don't really see full effort all the time. And that's why, the sport has been declining quite a bit, ever since, Kobe ended up retiring, and, it hasn't really been the same game in the last 15 years. But, there has been some upsets, and obviously road teams winning game 1. But again, even when teams go down 0-2, teams can still win 4 in a row and find a way to win the series. So we'll see how it all plays out. Top of the fourth, 1-1, Blue Jays and Mariners. First pitch from Bryce Miller to George Springer with a sweeper outside of the plate. 81 miles an hour, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch in play, and Springer popped out to first, 1 away. Next up, catcher Alejandro Kirk. Nice catch there by Rowdy Tellez on the first out. First pitch to Alejandro Kirk, fouled off with the sinker. Low and at the knees, 0-1 count. And this has been a good outing for Bryce Miller, obviously giving up the run early in the matchup. But again, hopefully he can go 6 innings, and eventually the game will open up once our bullpens come in. And hopefully our bullpen won't be shitty like Vargas was last night and cost us the game. especially here on Mother's Day. All right, we got 90 laps to go. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Big Bad Brad Keselowski, Christopher Bell, and Ryan Blaney in the top 5. Bowman, Priest, Logano, Smith, and Hamlin in the top 10. Let's go, Chase. 0-1 pitch, takes a strike swinging, in the zone. Behind in the count now, 0-2 from Miller to Kirk. Let's go, Bryce. We need to get your win record to 3-3. You're 2-3 with a 4.15 ERA. And again, we need Logan Gilbert and George Kirby back ASAP. 4 more likes to 20. Let's get there. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. 4 more to hit the goal so we can get into the algorithm. And we're at 10 on the dono train, 90 to go. 0-2 pitch, in play. And Alejandro Kirk doubles to left. Nice hit there by Alejandro. Crushed the fuck out of that baseball. Next up, right fielder Nathan Lucas. And can we get Randy Arozarena to actually hustle when he plays defense? I don't think I've ever seen such a lazy player in the outfield. Run hard, to the baseball instead of jogging to the baseball almost every single time. Victor Robles sacrificed his body and almost a season-ending injury just trying to make an out, and it's the complete opposite on left field with Randy Arozarena. It kind of reminds me of a guy like Randy Moss when he was on the Raiders, when he just kind of decided when he wanted to play, when he wanted to block, and when he wanted to run the route or not. And that was really the only place that you saw Randy Moss be kind of lazy, based on, I don't know if it was just the regime there for the Raiders, because you never really saw him be like that anywhere else. But, I don't know if that was acceptable for the Tampa Bay Rays for Randy Arozarena, but that shit irritates the fuck out of me. Hustle, hustle the first every time. Hustle in the outfield, and Lucas singles to right, and now you got runners on the corners at first and third with 1 out. Nice base knock by Nathan Lucas there. Next up, second baseman Ernie Clement. We need a double play bad. Slow dribbler right up to JP or Dylan Moore, and a throw to Rowdy Tellez to get the fuck out of this inning, so that way we don't get down 2-1, 3-1, or 4-1. Come on, Bryce. Yeah, well, you might think the refs are bad on the NFL, but actually the NFL has better refs than almost any other ref that's, in the 4 major sports. MLB umps are the worst. That's, nowhere even near college football or the NFL. Especially with the game going that fast, there's going to be human error. But, when you watch NHL, and their refs are usually pretty spot on for the most part, but MLBs are the worst. NBA is kind of in the middle. In play, and Clement sack fly to left. Alejandro Kirk scores from third. Lucas goes from first to second. 2-1 Blue Jays with 2 outs. Nice sack fly there by Ernie Clement. And next up, center fielder Miles Straw, who had the RBI to get them that 1-0 lead early. Come on, Bryce. And hopefully we can keep it to 3 runs or less before they pull him. If it gets to 4 or 5, it's going to be a lot harder for us to win. But I think overall, college football and NFL refs aren't that bad. Really, you're probably going to get more frustration, with NBA and MLB compared to the NHL, the NFL, or college football. Plus, you know what I mean? You're a fan of the Ducks and the Broncos. That's a lot to look forward to. Ducks, are probably going to end up making a natty within the next 3 years. And if, Dan Lanning stays for 10, we'll probably go to at least 2, maybe even 3. We may not win the first time that we get there, but if Lanning stays for the next 10 years and keeps recruiting the way that he will, we're eventually going to win a natty. And it could be this upcoming season. You never know, right? And then for the Broncos, Bo Nix looks amazing, right? And again, the defense could be the number 1 defense. Straw in play. And we get out of the inning, but not fully unscathed. He flies out to second. But, with what you guys have on that particular team, if there was a team that was going to take the Chiefs' spot, it'll more likely be you guys. Obviously the Chargers and Raiders are getting better, based on some of the, moves that they've made in the draft and in free agency. But, Denver's defense is by far the best in the division. Defense wins games, defense wins championships. Now, obviously the offense is a little light, but again, look what Bo was able to do with pretty much nothing besides Cortland Sutton. So once you start building the running backs, the wide receivers, the tight ends, you start building there, obviously getting Ingram in the offseason, that was a good plus, on the tight end position. But eventually, it wouldn't surprise me if the Broncos win the division or get second place and get a wild card with 10 to 12 wins. So, I think for you, even though you don't watch a whole lot of sports other than, the Broncos, the Ducks, NFL, college football, and obviously WWE, that's a lot to look forward to, I know I would be excited. My best friend Justin is a Broncos fan, so we talk Broncos all the time. So, it's not just you being a Bronco fan. I'm watching because of my best friend Justin too. So, all right, let's see who's up next here in the bottom of the fourth for the Seattle Mariners. And back up in the box, since he wasn't able to really finish his at-bat since Cal stole second and got caught, we got Randy Arozarena. Come on, Randy. Batting second, 0 for 1, first baseman Rowdy Tellez. And batting third, catcher 0 for 1, Mitch Garver. And hopefully we can get Leo Rivas to come in, but Leo normally plays second, and you don't really want to substitute, Leo for Dylan Moore, really, since he's the guy that gave us the home run. But, we need to bunt. We need to be able to find ways to get on base. We haven't really been walked, that heavily like we were in the previous 9 series. We haven't got hit by pitches that much either. We haven't been bunting. So that's kind of a reason. We haven't been hitting homers either. So, instead of putting up, 6 to 10 runs, we've been putting up about 3. So you need to get a few more extra opportunities, so that way we can kind of cash in. 77 laps to go, and my boy Chase Elliott in first. I love it. Let's go. And Randy, first pitch, single to center. There we go, baby. Nice job by Randy Arozarena getting on base with that curveball. I like it, baby. Now let's see if we can cash him in. Next up, first baseman Rowdy Tellez. This would be a great time for a 2-run blast to give us the 3-2 lead. Rowdy's been pretty consistent with homers, since the Blue Jays series in Toronto. He was the Canadian killer, had a solo jack and that grand salami, on WrestleMania weekend. And he's been hitting homers, not every day, but he's been pretty consistent about it. And hell, I'll even take a single here, just something positive. First pitch fouled off with the slider, 0-1 count to Rowdy Tellez. 0-1 pitch. Pitch is outside, 1 ball and 1 strike with that slider. 202 average, 6 homers, 19 ribbies for Rowdy. And Rowdy's going to be one of those guys. It's typically going to be a home run or, maybe a pop out, or a strikeout. But, he has been actually getting some singles here and there also. Pitches low and away with the curve. 2 balls and 1 strike from lower to Tellez. Let's go, Chase. Keep grinding, baby. Chase is due for a win. He got a win at the exhibition race at Bowman Gray, and he's been getting a lot of top 5, top 10 finishes, but we need a win for points, and this would be an awesome, track for him to get, kind of the groove going. Throw to first, and he's safe. To Randy Arozarena. 2 balls and 1 strike from lower to Tellez. Oh, and Alex Bowman, Big Bad Brad Keselowski just hit the wall. And double play. Fucking A, Rowdy. Brutal. Tellez grounds out into the double play. That might have been the easiest double play that the Toronto Blue Jays have had in 2025. That was brutal. All right, next up, catcher Mitch Garver. First pitch is low and away with the changeup. 1-0 count. Come on, Mitch. 1-0 pitch, high and away. Good eye, Mitch. 2 balls and no strikes from Lauer to Garver. 2-0 pitch, Slider, low, no. High and away, 3-0 count. And Garver, don't swing, take the walk. I mean, a lot of guys are going to have the green light with a 3-0 count, but, we're going to have to find any kind of way to get it done. Come on, Garv. Takes a strike looking on the 3-0 pitch, four-seam fastball in the zone. 3 balls and 1 strike with 2 outs from Lauer to Garver. Come on, Mitch. And in play, and Garver is out. Brutal. Popped out to first base. All right, well, at least we got the Demo home run, but we need more. And again, we don't really know what our bullpen is going to be looking like. Overall, Bryce has been pretty good today, only giving up 2 runs, but the bats have gotten a little cold, for the Mariners in this series against the Blue Jays. Nowhere near the 6 runs plus that we've been putting up in those 9 previous series. Again, we're pacing for like 3 runs in every game. Lost 6-3 in game 1, lost 6-3 in game 2, and hopefully we don't lose 6-3 again. We need the bats to come alive. Come on now. It's Mother's Day, baby. All right, let's go to the top of the 5th inning. We're halfway through. Leading off, the former Seattle Mariner, 0 for 1 left fielder Jonathan Clase. Batting second, shortstop, Bo Bichette, 0 for 2 with a K. And batting third, 0 for 2, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Let's go Mariners. Come on, baby. And 71 laps to go. Chase Elliott in first, Kyle Larson in second, Denny Hamlin in third, Christopher Bell in fourth, and Ryan Blaney in fifth. Let's go Chase. This is what I need to see, baby. Victory lane. Let's go, baby. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. It's like we're about 4 likes away from 20 and hitting that algorithm here on Mother's Day. And we're at 10 on the Dono train, 90 to go. Let's go, baby. Looks like we got a few more likes. Now we're at 19. We only need 1 more, and we can hit that algorithm on YouTube. So if you are in the room, thank you to those 3 people that smashed that like button. We need 1 more, and we're at 20. Let's go. All right, Jonathan Clase. First pitch from Miller to Clase, takes a strike looking, 4-seam fastball, right in the zone, 93 miles an hour, 0-1 count. Top of the 5th, 2-1 Toronto. And the bats have been pretty cold for the Mariners, only 3 hits total, 5 for Toronto, 2 runs. And if you're just tuning in, Straw singled to center, got an RBI for Lucas to score in the second, 1-0 Blue Jays. Demo in the bottom of the 3rd had a solo jack, 403 feet to left center, 1-1. And then Clement just hit a sac fly to left, and Alejandro Kirk scored in the top of the 4th. And that's where we're sitting right now with a 2-1 Blue Jay lead. 0-1 pitch, knuckle curve, low and at the knees. 1 ball and 1 strike from Miller to Clase. Come on, Bryce. One pitch, fouled off with a splitter right there in the zone. 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and no outs. 2-1 Toronto. Come on, Mariners. We can't get swept. And again, I'm not sure what we're going to need. Maybe we need Polo to pinch hit. Leo Rivas definitely to pinch hit. But we're going to need some, other guys to get it done. Obviously, the guys that we have in there right now haven't really been doing a whole lot. And there we go. 1-2 pitch. Got him. Nice punch out for Bryce Miller. Down goes Jonathan Clase. Nice job, baby. Keep it going. Nice job, Bryce. It's Miller time. Next up, shortstop Bo Bichette. First pitch from Miller to Bichette. In the zone, takes a strike looking with the knuckle curve, 82 miles an hour, 0-1 count. There we go. Thank you, Captain. Appreciate your help. We're at 20. Next goal will be 30. 10 to go to get 30. 0-1 pitch. Takes a strike looking right on the line with a sweeper. Got Bichette in an 0-2 count. Top of the fifth, 1 out, nobody on. 2-1 Toronto lead. And we're looking for a win to prevent the sweep. And we got the Yankees tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday. Going against Aaron Judge is always a fun matchup. And again, we need to win this matchup here to kind of save this particular series from being ugly and a complete sweep. Bichette grounds out to the shortstop, throw to first. JP's got him to Tellez, 1 away. There we go. Down goes Bo. Bo knows. Next up, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. 0 for 2. Top of the fifth with 2 outs. First pitch to Vladdy. Sweeper inside at the head. 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch. Pitches high and away with that sinker, 94 miles an hour. 2 balls and no strikes from Bryce Miller to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Come on, Bryce. Pitches inside with that splitter. 3-0 count from Miller to Vladdy Jr. Come on, baby. Don't walk him. Top of the fifth, 2-1 Toronto. Miller on the mound. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the box. We need some good luck here. Come on, Mariner Moose. And Guerrero Jr. singles to left on a very hard hit ball to Randy Arozarena. Nice base knock there by Vladdy. Next up, third baseman in the 3-hole, Addison Barger. Come on, Mariner Moose. We need you, Maurice. Come on, baby. Takes a strike swinging on that knuckle curve. 0-1 count from Miller to Barger. Anna in the building. Happy Mother's Day. Great that you're here. Apologize I wasn't able to do the game yesterday since I was doing WWE Backlash there in St. Louis. Because right when it ended with John Cena and Randy Orton, the game was already starting, so I didn't have time to really do it. And, I thought Logan Evans pitched well, but again, gave up, Gabe Spire gave up a run, and it ended up being 3-2 to 3-3. And then Vargas pretty much fucked it all up for us, and gave up all those hits and runs, and we lost 6-3 in game 1 and game 2. But this game is definitely winnable, and we got the Yankees in a 3-game set, so we have to win here. Must win. Pitches high and away. 2 balls and 1 strike from Miller to Barger. Absolutely. No problem. Great to see you here. Two-one pitch. Takes a strike swinging right down the pipe. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Miller to Barger. Come on, Mariners. But again, the bats have started to get a little cold in this Blue Jays series, not like in the previous 9. Normally we were getting about 6 to 10 runs a game, and we've only been able to manufacture 3 in the first 2 games, and we're only at 1 here. So, not getting homers, but really by Julio or Cal. Polo has cooled off. JP and Julio have stayed hot, but again, not playing Leo Rivas is a mistake. And Miller walks Barger. Runners at first and second now with 2 outs. Next up, DHing George Springer. I got the NASCAR Cup Series Kansas race on. Hopefully Chase Elliott can find his way into the winner's circle. Blue Jays here up 2-1 with runners at first and second. But I mean, any starting pitcher, if they give up, 1 to 3 runs, that's kind of expected. It's not expected for a pitcher to go 6 innings and give up 0. Again, hitters are very good. Obviously, in this, 2025 MLB season with all the rule changes, with no shifting and the pitch calm, it's definitely tough. But, it's like even if you have a lead, by 2, 3, 4, 5 runs, that doesn't mean that you're going to win, especially if your bullpen sucks. And our bullpen has been shaky besides Andres Munoz. So hopefully the bats can open up here, eventually as we get deeper in this matchup. Takes a strike swinging on the first pitch. 0-1 count to Springer. 0-1 pitch. Splitter, low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Miller to Springer. Top of the 5th with runners at first and second, Vladdy and Barger. And with 2 outs, we got to get out of this inning unscathed, Once we start getting down by 3, 4, 5, I'm not sure if the players are going to give that full effort, but we don't want to get swept. We've only been swept once this year, and that was at the Giants when Victor Robles sacrificed his body and got hurt. And just like that, golly, Springer, back, see ya! And just like that, we're down 5-1. Fucking A, Bryce. He was doing pretty good up to that point, but now, same Bryce, struggling like we never thought he would. Brutal, and that might have just cost us the game. Fucking A. God damn it, Bryce. And Springer has been very hot, in 2025, made a lot of changes with his approach in 2024 to 2025, and fucking A, Bryce, you got to get pulled now. I don't even, they're going to keep him in there, and, obviously we should replace him in the 6th. But our bullpen has been so shaky, Oh, man, I hate getting fucking swept. I fucking hate it. And it's not over yet. Obviously, we still got, a few innings to go to get 4. But the way the pitching has been, who knows? The Blue Jays might end up getting to 8, 9, or 10, if it keeps continuing at this route. So, motherfucker. Son of a bitch. And next up is Heineman. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Miller to Heineman. Top of the 5th, 5-1 Blue Jays. I mean, this is not looking good because you got to think we were able to get away with our pitching and our bullpen being a little shaky, when we were scoring 6 to 10 runs. But when the bats go cold and then you're still giving up, runs with Wu and Miller and Castillo and Evans and Hancock, and then you're only putting up 1 to 3 runs, you're not going to win, and then plain and simple. You have to have good starting pitching. You have to have a good bullpen, a good closer. And again, it's not realistic to hit 6 to 10 runs every game, and I realize that, but man, the bats have really gone cold in this Toronto series. And again, we can't have that happen tomorrow because we're still at T-Mobile with a 3-game set against one of the best teams in baseball, the New York Yankees and fucking Aaron Judge. Brutal. But right now, Bryce might be the worst pitcher on the staff. Right now, I mean, we might have more trust in Hancock and Evans than we do in Miller. Miller might be now overall. Miller has, proven that he's normally a pretty good pitcher, right? And normally he would be 3rd after Wu and Castillo. But based on how he's played in 2025, I don't trust him at all. I think I trust Hancock and Evans more than I do with Bryce. And I get it, he's dealing with a back issue. But if your back is so fucked up and and you're not hitting your spots, maybe you need to fucking go to AAA or sit. And go on the injured list, something, and let someone else have a chance because you're fucking hurting the team here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Miller on the mound, Heineman in the box. And, Springer is a guy that's been extremely hot in 2025, and it was just a matter of time before he got somebody. But very disappointed with Bryce in 2025. Especially if Hancock and fucking Logan Evans are better than him. There's no way that Evans and Hancock should be better than Bryce Miller, but that's where we're looking at right now. Castillo and Wu are at the top. We need Logan Gilbert and George Kirby bad, to say the least. Pitch fouled off. 10th pitch at the Heineman at bat. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Miller on the mound, Heineman in the box. But it's like, I don't trust anybody in the pen. I mean, I trust Brash. I trust Gabe Spire, even though he's been a little shaky lately. Bazardo 50% of the time, just like everyone else. Like, Vargas, I have no trust in. Trent Thornton is injured. I don't trust Troy Taylor either. I love Andres Munoz, so we have like a great closer, but we can't bring him in when you're fucking down 5-1. And we get out of the inning, but not unscathed. And Bryce Miller fucking it up again, man. So it's like, and you get, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Brian Wu, Luis Castillo. I don't even know if I want Bryce Miller to be a part of the 5. Maybe we should give Hancock or Evans, a chance to be the 5th guy. And I know that is, kind of a crazy thing to say, but if we continue to keep losing every time Bryce pitches, it's going to be tough, unless the bats come alive. And then he doesn't get the win, the guy in the pen does. But again, it's like, if you can't score 6 to 10 runs when Bryce is pitching, you're going to lose. And that's rough. All right, let's see if the Mariners can get on a rally. The most that we can get down by is 5. Right now we're down by 4. But again, the bats really haven't been heating up. Polo isn't in the lineup, and he's been a little cold lately. We haven't been playing Leo Rivas, which is a big mistake. He's a very good player, baseball IQ, offense, defense, can bunt, has speed on the bags. It's not. It feels like it's over, but again, it's not over till it's over. And again, if they have a shitty guy in the pen like our guys, all it takes is one good inning off a shitty guy in the pen on the Blue Jays, and we can get right back in it. But hopefully we can get back in it here. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 1, right fielder Leody Taveras, who has been a good fit for Seattle, from coming over from the Rangers. Filling in that spot for Victor Robles quite nicely. Batting second, third baseman in the 8-hole, Miles Mastrobuoni, 0 for 1. And batting third, the only guy that has done anything for the Mariners today with a solo jack, Dylan Moore. I mean, first pitch double to J.P. Crawford, but man, it's been light. We only have 3 hits total. I mean, these last 3 games have kind of reminded me of the Mariners from last year when we were like the worst hitting team in baseball and the number 1 strikeout team. Now, we're not striking out as much as we have in the past, but, a bunch of pop-ups and ground outs and, getting thrown out at second, trying to steal a bag, and again, if you're having a hard time and they're not walking us, we're not getting hit by pitches. So you need to find ways to get on base like bunting. And, Dan Wilson needs to realize that. You just can't go through the motions game in and game out and then just think that eventually it's going to turn around. Yeah, I ended up sending that. I saw that last night live and I sent it to Reefer and we had a good laugh about that. All right, come on, Leody. Let's start the rally. First pitch, takes a strike looking. 0-1 count from Lauer to Taveras. 0-1 pitch. Curveball in the zone, right down the pipe, behind in the count 0-2. And it looks like that was a pretty smart decision, for them to take Urania out after Demo hit the home run. And Lauer has been very good, after that. So obviously they were going for the sweep. Because, how often does a guy get pulled after giving up 1 run? Almost never. And in the 3rd inning, and it's not like we had 10 hits on Urania, but his ERA was in the high 8s. But that was good, coaching by the Blue Jays manager by pulling him, and it worked out. I wish Dan Wilson could do something like that. But again, our pen guys stink for the most part, besides like Brash and Gabe and Munoz. Pitch fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes with no outs here in the bottom of the 5th, and we need a fucking rally. Come on, Leody. And again, the way you become a fan favorite is being consistent. And again, first couple games, Leody has been able to get hits and RBIs. And again, that's what we need. We need production. Pitch fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Lauer to Taveras. And again, I don't know if we're going to be able to get any more home runs, but we got to manufacture like that, really good, solid inning where we can get like 1 to 3 runs to get back in it, whether that be a 3-run blast by a guy like Rowdy Tellez or just getting consecutive hits back to back to back. But we've had a hard time doing that here today against the Blue Jays, as well as the previous 2 games. And Taveras strikes out swinging on that curveball, 1 away. Next up is third baseman Miles Mastrobuoni. Come on, baby. I still believe, but, something's got to happen soon. First pitch is low and away, 1-0 count. I mean, sometimes all you need is just a shitty guy from the pen to hit a couple guys or walk a couple guys, and then the next guys after that get the RBIs, and then you're right back in it. But unfortunately, the Blue Jays pitching has been pretty fucking good, starters and pen in this whole series. Like, we haven't really had that moment of weakness from the other team where we could take advantage. But hopefully it will happen after Lauer hopefully goes out. Takes a strike looking in the zone. 1 ball and 1 strike to Miles Mastrobuoni. Bottom of the 5th, 5-1 Blue Jays. But it's kind of crazy to me that, like, the guy that I trust the least is Bryce Miller. Like, and I know Emerson Hancock is, most of the time bad, but sometimes okay. And Logan Evans, it looks like he's good at home, but got rocked on the road. But it's like, I feel more confident with Hancock and Evans on the mound than I do with Bryce. That's kind of a crazy thing to say, but he has not been good in 2025. And Mastrobuoni strikes out looking. Fuck. 2 away. Should have played Ben Williamson today. But again, they're saving some of these guys, Williamson and Polo, for the Yankee series. But, you don't want to get swept. Next up, second baseman Dylan Moore. Can Dylan homer again and at least get us to 2? And we got 58 laps to go here in stage 3 at Kansas. Come on, Chase. Larson, Logano, Bell, Bowman in your top 4. First pitch, high and away with the strike looking to Demo, 0-1 count. Bottom of the 5th, 5-1 Blue Jays. Come on, Mariners. We need all the good luck charms. Pitch fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Demo. Come on, baby. I don't know what we need, but we need something. Come on, Demo. 289 average, 7 home runs by Demo in 2025. And was a little bit on a cold streak before that homer today. Good to see him get back on track. 1-2 pitch. Fouled off by Lauer. Bottom of the 5th, nobody on with 2 outs, down by 4 runs. And Demo strikes out swinging. Fuck, man. It's like we were able to, keep the bats so hot, for essentially like a month, and we were pretty much getting 6 runs a game for like a month. And then it just fucking straight up died in this Toronto series at home. And we did win 2 out of 3. We lost game 1 in Toronto, won game 2 and 3 on WrestleMania weekend. But Blue Jays on the brink of sweeping the Mariners and getting the brooms like Harry Potter, just like the Giants did when Robles got hurt in San Francisco. Fuck. Not the Mother's Day that I wanted. Fucking A. All right, next up here in the top of the 6th, 2 for 2 with a run, right fielder Nathan Lucas, who's had a good series against Seattle. Batting second baseman Ernie Clement, 1 for 1 with an RBI. And batting third in the 8 hole, 1 for 2 with an RBI, center fielder Miles Straw. Let's go Mariners. Thunder up by 3. And as long as you guys don't take a bunch of threes, you're going to be good to go, Captain. Because again, the Thunder, is an unselfish team. They play defense, they rebound. And you got to think, the Nuggets, that's probably the toughest opponent out of all the playoff teams that are left. If you're really being honest about it, when Jamal Murray and the Joker are going with all those good role players, again, that's a tough team to play. That normally would be a team that you would play like in the West Final rather than playing them this early. So again, it's not going to be easy, against that Denver Nugget team and whatnot. But again, I think that you guys will be able to grind it out and get the dub. Slow the game down, get to the free throw line. But again, it's like if you look at all the other opponents, like in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, no one is having the same type of hard matchup, like the Thunder. So, like the Nuggets could represent the West. Like you would think if it's not the Thunder, more than likely it would be the Nuggets. So, and obviously, the T-Wolves, are kind of up and down in their series as well, but they have that lack of inexperience, and they don't really play defense all the time either. So, and Boston got down 0-2, went to New York and took care of business and made more threes, instead of going 25 for 100 in the first 2 games, went 20 for 40, and that was the difference in blowing them out. Still too many threes, but making 20 out of 40 is better than making 10 out of 40 like they did in game 2 or 15 out of 60 in game 1. You can't win that way if you're the Celtics. Miller is still in the game in the 6th. Who knows why the fuck. 3 balls, 1 strike to Nathan Lucas. Cool kid in the building. What's good? And that's a walk by Miller. Pull him. Pull him. We're already down by 4 runs. I mean, if you end up getting another guy on base with no outs, again, that's usually the cue to pull a guy. In the 5th inning, when you have runners at first and second with no outs, it's going to lead to 1 to 3 runs typically. It's not like everyone can be the Seattle Mariners and have bases loaded, no outs, and we get nothing, Yeah, but the T-Wolves play in spurts, though. You know what I mean? I feel like, they play in spurts, and it's not going to be consistent all the way through. So I actually think that, you'll be able, if you get past them in play, and there's a single, pull him. Clement singles to right, Lucas the second, pull him. I know our bullpen stinks, but again, if we don't pull him, it's going to be like 7-1 by the time we pull him. Too late. But I actually think that the Thunder would have an easier time with the T-Wolves than the Nuggets, in my opinion. As good as Anthony Edwards is, the Nuggets have a better team. They're just, with the T-Wolves, they're kind of top heavy. So, fucking A. Top of the 6th, runners at first and second, no outs, straw in the box, and we need to fucking pull them. Well, the thing that holds back the Warriors is fucking injuries to Steph Curry, and the thumb, and obviously not having Klay Thompson there anymore. So they're not going to win that series, the Warriors, even if Steph was healthy. So it should be the T-Wolves, versus OKC. And, again, like with the Nuggets and OKC, that could go 6 or 7 games. OKC against Minnesota would probably go 5 or 6, Thunder winning the series. Not to say that the T-Wolves can't win, 3-4 games, but I just don't think they can. Not against the Thunder, maybe against someone else, but. And if the T-Wolves matched up with the Nuggets, I don't think they would beat them either. So even though that Anthony Edwards is a top 5 player and he's fun to watch, and they have a few other guys on the team that complement him, but, and it's not like, the Pacers or the Knicks, or maybe even the Celtics at this point. It feels like if OKC just gets past this series and they make the finals, again, this is going to be the toughest matchup the rest of the way. You get past the Nuggets, it's, I don't want to say smooth sailing, but again, you might end up, winning the NBA Finals in 5 if you make it. It could be 6 or 7, but I highly doubt it. Unless Boston gets hot and they're the ones that represent the East. But if it's anybody but Boston, OKC is going to end up winning it probably in 5, maybe 6. And finally, we get a pitching change, but like maybe an inning or 2 too late. And who are we bringing in? Colin Snyder, another guy that I don't trust. $52 laps to go. Larson, Bell, Logano, Bowman, Briscoe. Where the hell is Chase Elliott, baby? Where are you? 16th. Come on, Chase. Yeah. Plus, the Warriors are getting old. You know, it's not the same, team that they had years past with Steph and Clay and Draymond. Again, when you end up missing a piece, you're not going to be as good as you were, and they're starting to realize how big Klay Thompson was to that team. So, plus, I don't think anybody really counted on the Warriors beating the T-Wolves, especially with Anthony Edwards and how good he's been, this year in 2025. All right, we're on the top of the 6th. We got Colin Snyder in the game. I don't know if this is going to make any difference, but we have runners at first and second with no outs. We need a double play desperately. And it's sad to say Bryce Miller is the worst pitcher, on the staff. And Straw sack bunt to the catcher. Clement to second, Lucas to third. Runners at second and third with one out. Next up is left fielder Jonathan Clase. First pitch from Snyder to Clase. Cutter on the line. 0-1 count. Takes a strike looking. But pretty wild to think that Emerson Hancock and Logan Evans are better than Bryce Miller. Crazy. But I guess that's where we're at right now. Nothing can be, fully perfect. And even though we've had a great season up to this point. 0-1 pitch. Pitches inside. 1 ball and 1 strike with that cutter from Snyder to Clase. Yeah, Draymond is the dirtiest player in the game, and if you actually go back and look, in the NBA, he might be one of the dirtiest players of all time. And there it is in play. Colin Snyder, what are you doing? You give up Jonathan Clase, who's got like 1 fucking hit all year, and then you get a double off of him? You got to be shitting me. Unbelievable. Jonathan Clase, the former Mariner, and now this one feels like it's over. I mean, it probably was already over at 5-1, but now it's really over. Fucking A. 7-1 Blue Jays. And again, we still have a few more innings to go, but I mean, if the bats can't come alive, this is going to get fucking ugly. I mean, it already is. Next up, Bo Bichette. First pitch. Again, it's like if your starting pitching sucks and then the bullpen sucks, and then the bats aren't coming alive, you got no chance. I don't think he's should be top 5. He already is. He's the most hated player right now in the NBA. 100%. There's a few guys like, Vontez Burfict and Ndamukong Suh that were dirty as well. And Bichette grounds out to the shortstop, Clase to third, 2 away. But again, if you're looking at, like, I've been watching the NBA since 1985-ish. And out of all the players, and it was a lot more hardcore, of a league, people wouldn't, take 5 games off for a hangnail like they do now. People actually were tough. They had neck braces and goggles, and they were really fucking hurt, and they would still go at it, beat the shit out of each other and get in fights. But I think out of every player that I've ever watched, I would probably say Draymond is the dirtiest out of any player I've ever seen. And he always tries to come across as he's not, but that makes it even worse because you are, tries to come across as like, I'm just aggressive. No, you are trying to hurt people on purpose, All right, and we finally get out of the inning, but not unscathed. Jonathan Clase with that big RBI, and now we're down 6 runs instead of being down 4. Yeah. Well, Dylan Brooks obviously is a part of the Ducks. So, anyone that's a part of the Duck family, and if you're an Oregon fan, you want to root for them. But ever since I saw the way that he acted, it's like you don't even want to, it's almost like I wish he didn't go to Oregon because you're giving Oregon a bad name by being a jackass. Like, and there hasn't been really any Oregon players but him. He really is the only stain on the mattress, so to speak, for the Oregon Ducks, maybe in any sport. And again, he's an aggressive player, and sometimes, will have Draymond-like tendencies, but he's nowhere near, what Draymond is game in and game out. So, Pitching. That's how it goes. Our worst pitcher, obviously the Blue Jays, have been playing well. We won 9 consecutive series up to this point. And again, when you average 6 runs a game for a month, and then you only put up 3, 3, and 1, and your starting pitching is bad, your bullpen is terrible, and then your bats aren't getting 6 runs, that's how you lose. And that's how, again, it's not like you're going to be able to score 6 runs, for the whole year, every single game. It's not like your pitching is going to be great every game. And you also have to give the Blue Jays credit. They have been playing well as of late, even coming into the series against us. It was already good for them even prior to this series. So Lauer to JP, takes a strike looking, 1 ball and 1 strike from Lauer to Crawford. Come on, JP. Pitches inside, tried to jam the hitter. 2 balls and 1 strike from Lauer to JP Crawford. But we still got a great record. We're 22-16, 12-8 at home. Still first place in the AL West. Again, it's not like you're going to be able to beat everyone. And if, we don't strike out nearly as much as we did last season, the year before that, or the year before that, we're not the number 1 strikeout team. We don't have the lowest batting average as a team. There's a lot of positives. This is only going to be our second sweep against us all year. So we got swept by a playoff team in the Giants early in the season, and I don't think anybody expected us to get swept by the Blue Jays, considering that if they win this, they're 20-20, but shit happens. JP grounds out 1 away. Next up, Julio Rodriguez. Like, sub, donate, comment, share. If you haven't smashed that like button yet, please do. And we're at 10 on the Dono train, 90 to go. Bottom of the 6th, 7-1 Blue Jays on Mother's Day. And we got 44 laps to go at Kansas. Larson, Bell, Bowman, Briscoe, and Priest. Come on, Chase. Get up there, baby. Pitches inside. Tries to jam the hitter with a 4-seam fastball by Lauer. 2-0 count to Julio Rodriguez. Come on, Julio. Anything that we can get at this point, if we're going to lose the game, it'll carry over to the Yankee series starting tomorrow. So if you thought it was bad here against the Blue Jays, fucking A, it ain't going to get any easier. A 3-game set at home against New York and Aaron Judge. And Rodriguez flies out to center, 2 away. Next up, DHing for Seattle, big dumper, Cal Raleigh. But, in these last 3 games, pitching hasn't been good for the starting pitching. Bullpen hasn't been good. Hitting hasn't been good. Home runs, we haven't had them. And we maybe have had the wrong lineup as well. So, number of factors. But we'll bounce back. I still feel that we could win 2 out of 3 against New York. First pitch to Cal Raleigh. Takes a strike looking in the zone. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch. Low and outside and away with the changeup. 1 ball and 1 strike from Lauer to Cal Raleigh. 1-1 pitch. Fouled off at the knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to big dumper Cal Raleigh. Come on, Cal. Yeah, again, you can't fear, New York. You have to be up for the challenge. You have to have the mindset, that we understand that they're a great team, right? We might even play them in the playoffs here in 2025. But instead of fearing the team, you want to be up for the challenge and to see how you match up against a top guy, a top team and a top guy like Aaron Judge. And again, could we get swept by New York? Yeah, it's possible. Could we only win 1 game out of 3? Yeah. But again, if we can get better pitching, and actually get the bats to come alive and the defense, and, hopefully the bullpen will be a little bit better than this series. We're not going to sweep New York. That wouldn't fucking happen, but we could win 2 out of 3, and that's what we're going to need. So. Yeah, Steph. Bryce is unfortunately the worst pitcher on the staff this year. Emerson Hancock is more trustworthy. Even Logan Evans is more trustworthy. You got Wu as 1, Castillo as 2, Logan Evans as 3, Hancock 4, and then Bryce Miller 5. And, a crazy thing to say, but once we get George Kirby and Logan Gilbert back, I think that Bryce maybe should. I don't know. I don't know if I would say send him to AAA, but I think maybe we need to send him to AAA because I don't want him to be the fifth guy. I think that I would rather have Hancock or Evans to be the fifth guy. I think Evans is the one I would want. So I would want Logan as 1, Logan Gilbert 1, George Kirby 2, Brian Wu 3, Luis Castillo 4, and then I think I would want Logan Evans 5, and then Hancock after him, and then Bryce Miller. I don't think I ever thought that I would say that, but Bryce is nowhere near, and I know he's been dealing with a back issue this year, but I mean, if it's bothering you that much, speak up because you're hurting the fucking team by going out there and getting blasted for 5 to 10 runs every fucking start. So, especially when our bats are not really coming alive. So. Yeah. Well, Mets are good, obviously, with Soto, and obviously when we play them, that ain't going to be easy either. But the Mets are in the National League, so we don't have to worry about them. Yankees are in the American League. First pitch from Snyder to Barger. Takes a strike looking, 0-1 count. And it kind of makes you wonder, too, with Dan Wilson. It's like he ends up letting guys that are shitty in the pen go 2 innings, and then we have a guy that's really good most of the time in Gabe Spire that only goes 1. Make it make sense. Like, why the fuck do we have Snyder in there for 2 or Vargas in there for 2 or 3? I mean, if they were good, yeah. But when they're not, like, what are we doing? Top of the 7th, 7-1, and I know the reason why they're doing it because they're trying to rest the other guys and have them ready for the New York series or, resting them in general. But top of the 7th, 7-1 Blue Jays. Snyder on the mound, Barger in the box, pitches outside with the cutter. 3 balls and 1 strike to Barger. Come on, baby. But I absolutely have no confidence in Bryce Miller in 2025, unfortunately. Especially when I'm, choosing AAA pitchers over him and Hancock and Evans. In play. Jesus. Back. See ya. And Barger with a homer, and the bleeding doesn't stop. We're bleeding out. Someone get a Band-Aid and a first aid kit because we are bleeding out. 8-1 Blue Jays. I mean, we won 2 out of 3 in Toronto, but again, the game that we should have won was yesterday's game, but Vargas fucked that up. Man, we are getting beat the fuck up here. I think John Cena can wrestle, but it's just not the wrestling that people like, Like, he can do moves. He even had an era early in his career where when the chants came out that Cena can't wrestle, that he started to do moves that are normally not in his repertoire to show that, yeah, I can wrestle and do other people's moves and other moves. It's just that those are the moves that are in his move set. So I feel like, anytime you get a guy that is kind of big upper body and their lower half, with their legs maybe doesn't match up and they're kind of robotic and stiff out there, shoulder blocks and certain moves that he does aren't really the most appealing. We would rather watch a guy like Jacob Fatu, and the way that he does things at that body size. In play from George Springer, and Springer keeps the bleeding to continue, gets a double to right, 8-1 Blue Jays. But, Cena, this is his last run, right? And so, again, some people are going to like it. Some people aren't going to like it, but I'm kind of curious to see what matchups we get. We already got Randy Orton. We're probably going to get CM Punk, and there'll be a few others that will be lined up, and then eventually Cody Rhodes will get the belt back, and eventually we'll have a Cody Rhodes heel turn, which will be great, and hopefully that will be what happens at the end of the year. Even though Cena is a heel at the moment, but he may go face. It wouldn't shock me if Cena goes face before, he ends up giving up the belt. All right, Snyder on the mound, Heineman in the box. Takes a strike swinging on both pitches. Now behind in the count 0-2. Top of the 7th, runner at second with no outs, and we are bleeding out. Well, with The Rock, he doesn't show up. And again, they kind of ruined the storyline. They should have saved the big reveal for WrestleMania. And if they weren't, they needed to have Rock show up with Travis Scott and everyone else, all the time to kind of take over WWE like the NWO. And since they didn't do that, they kind of dropped the ball, so kind of makes you wonder with Rock being, part owner with TKO and that ownership buyout with Vince McMahon and WWE, and we know Rock does movies. So he can say, oh, I didn't want to step into the limelight for Cena and whatnot, but, they definitely missed a big moment, in wrestling where it could have been better. Pitch fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes from Snyder to Heineman. What makes the top baseball teams good? A number of things. A great manager, great starting pitching, great bullpen, great closer, having a team that plays for each other, teams that actually put effort, that actually run hard to first base, even though it looks like they're going to be out. It's a lot of effort and passion and having the right players. Baseball is the hardest sport to play besides hockey. And it's a true effort sport. A lot of times, with the NBA and the NFL, sometimes maybe, people are taking plays off here and there, especially in the NBA. Heineman lines out to left, 1 away. But, baseball, there's a number of factors that what makes the teams good. But essentially, you have to be able to pitch. You have to be able to hit. You have to have a good bullpen and a good closer, right? And again, you have to have a good manager to make good decisions at the right time. And, most teams don't have those things, or they only have a couple of those things out of the main thing. So. And also, having a good owner, having a good GM, bringing in players that would be a good fit. Also having a good farm system. And luckily the Mariners have the #1 farm system in MLB, which is, single A, high A, double A, triple A, the leagues that are underneath the MLB. And if you end up having 10 guys, that are in the top 100, all on the Mariners, and there's 30 teams in the MLB, that's huge. So again, we just need to find the right combination of young and old. And there's an RBI. And Lucas singles to center. Springer scores 9-1 Blue Jays. Holy fuck. This is not the Mother's Day present that I was expecting. Next up, second baseman Ernie Clement, 2 for 2 with a run and an RBI. And it shows you, even if your starting pitching is great, if you have a shitty bullpen like the Mariners, that's the one weakness of the team. But in fairness, most people's teams that they root for in Major League Baseball have shitty bullpens. They may have a good closer like we do, where we have Andres Munoz, but for guys that come in the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th, most teams don't have good pitchers there. So it kind of makes you wonder, instead of getting free agents, right, that are players that play outfield and first base, why not spend money on pitchers and move them to the bullpen? Start paying good money to starting pitchers from other teams that are available and then move them to the bullpen. So that way, if there's injuries, they can start, but then also you can put them in the bullpen. No team has really figured that out. You don't need to, get all these big free agent guys from other teams, outfielders, first basemen. Why not spend the money on pitchers and have an abundance of good pitchers? You need them, right? And that way that if guys get hurt or they're shitty, you have other guys to back you up. And unfortunately, it's like you only have so many guys in the pen, and if you don't get anybody, then it's either they suck or you have to go to the farm and hopefully you can find someone that's better. But most teams don't have a good bullpen. It's just kind of a weak link in Major League Baseball for whatever reason, until you get a time and day where you end up having, a team that has great starting pitching and a great bullpen. And then that's the team that will probably end up winning the World Series. Top of the 7th, runner at first with 2 outs. Snyder still in the game for some dumb fuck reason, and Straw in the box. 2 balls and 1 strike. Yeah, Brad Pitt isn't a baseball player in it. So it's like their management, and like I said, it's all about stats and analytics, and trying to find people that aren't big names that you can get cheap that actually have good stats. And then you bring them to a team, to try to manufacture, like a playoff run or something good. Straw in play and pops out to right. Oh, instead of being down 5-1, now we're down 9-1. Thank you, Colin Snyder. You stink, just like Bryce Miller. Yeah, Moneyball is the Athletics using the statistics. That's that movie with Brad Pitt. But that's the Moneyball movie. All right, next up here in the bottom of the 7th, down only 8 runs, no problem. Left fielder Randy Arozarena, 1 for 2. We need a hell of a lot more. Batting second in the 5-hole, first baseman 0 for 2, Rowdy Tellez. And batting third, 0 for 2 in the 6-hole, catcher Mitch Garver. And we definitely, if we were not down by this much, I would say, hey, let's bring in Polo. Let's bring in Leo Rivas, but now when you're down 8 runs, we're not coming back. It would be great if we could at least get to 3, but we might not even be able to do that here today. So. No, Moneyball is not on Netflix. I just looked, but maybe it'll be like on Hulu or something. But I just looked it up on Netflix, not on there. But let me look on Hulu. No, not on Hulu either. I don't think. No, not on Hulu, not on. So it might be on like Amazon Prime or something else. Disney Plus maybe. Let me look. I got all the apps, so I can take a quick peek here. Moneyball isn't on Disney Plus either. Maybe it's on Prime. I can look on Peacock too. No, not on Peacock either. So I don't know. It's got to be on Prime or something else. All right, we got 14 laps to go. Larson, Bell, Bowman, Briscoe, and Blaney. Where the hell is Chase Elliott? 12. Fuck. Yeah, and then sometimes if it's not on, on one of these streaming apps, then you have to pay for it, or Looks like it's on AMC. If you have AMC, it'll be on May 20th and 21st on AMC, IFC as well. So you can watch it on Philo, YouTube TV with a premium subscription, Amazon Prime, YouTube. But all of these, you have to pay for it, unless you have a AMC possibly. But that might be your best chance to watch it on cable if you have cable. So, but I'm not sure if it would be really worth buying, but it is a good movie, but I guess it just depends on if that interests you or not. All right, one away. Next up is Donovan Solano. So now they're starting to bring in some guys. After Randy got out, Solano hitting for Rowdy Tellez. First pitch fouled off from Lauer to Solano. And again, they had Lauer come in the 3rd inning after Demo got a home run to tie the game. And he's literally pitched the rest of the game. Like when the Mariners tried to do something like that with Casey Lawrence, we ended up getting fucking obliterated against the Marlins. So, but then the game after that, we scored like 14. So pitch fouled off again by Solano, 0-2 count. And in play, popped up, and one away. Yeah, I love me some RVD, especially RVD and Sabu and ECW. Like RVD in his prime in ECW, like when he went to WWF, WWE, he was a shell of himself because he couldn't really be as hardcore with the move set or the weapons and the things that they were able to do in ECW. So, like, it was like a kind of a filtered down version of RVD, which was still popular. But, if you really want to see the best of RVD, it's only in ECW with Sabu. All right, next up is Mitch Garver. Bottom of the 7th with nobody on and 2 outs, and I think they're finally going to make a pitching change. And Lauer did a fantastic job for the Blue Jays there. Oh, Mariner Moose, where were you today on Mother's Day? We needed you. Tough when you're getting fucking obliterated, by 8 runs and you still got 2 or 3 to go, where you just kind of want the game to fucking end. But we'll see what we can get, obviously, from here on out. 8 laps to go. Larson, Bell, Bowman, Blaney, Briscoe, Priest, Berry, Busher, Logano, Nemechek in your top 10. Come on, Chase. NASCAR Cup Series at Kansas. Not the Mother's Day that I was expecting, but we did gain a couple subs, which is always good. We're getting closer to 20,800. We only need 16 more. We should maybe be able to hit that number in a couple weeks, unless we end up having, a stream that goes into extra innings and we get a little boost in viewership where you can get 5 to 10 subs in one single stream, which is possible. And we've done that before. And we're starting to get a little bit of an uptick on the viewership too, which is always good. I mean, my goal is to get us to a point where we're getting 1,000 views minimum or more on every single Mariner stream. So I had Thunder and Celtics in the finals. Ooh, man, that's, obviously RVD and Sabu in ECW, Stone Cold, The Rock, Scott Hall, Kevin Nash. I mean, there's just so many. Bret Hart. I mean, I love NWO. It's tough to say. I mean, I love Seth Rollins, obviously, as far as like wrestlers that are wrestling right now. I mean, it all depends if we're talking about old school wrestlers that are retired or new school wrestlers that are wrestling now, or a combination of both. But I mean, I don't know if I can just put it into 7. There we go. I told you were going to get the dub. At least you got, and then they slowed the game down and you were able to get it, baby. Let's go. Rodriguez on the mound, Mitch Garver in the box. Paisley's in here now. He misses dad. All right, Paisley's in here now. 3 laps to go. Looks like Larson might end up winning it. He's been dominant in 2025 in the NASCAR Cup Series. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out from Rodriguez to Garver. Slider, low and away. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Count now is full from Rodriguez to Garver. I told you you'd pull away, and you did. Series is tied up 2-2. And obviously the Thunder have the toughest series in the entire NBA. And Garver strikes out swinging. Man, we've already bled out, multiple times, and we're down 8 runs. Let's go to the top of the 8th. Next up for the Blue Jays, 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a K, left fielder, the former Seattle Mariner, Jonathan Clase. Batting second, 0 for 4 with a K, shortstop Bo Bichette, which is rare for him to go 0 for 4. And batting third in the 2-hole, 1 for 4 with a run, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Let's go Mariners. Not going to win this game, but hopefully we can put up at least 1 or 2 more runs, and not fully give up on Mother's Day. And, we're going to need it. All right, last lap here. Larson about to win. Larson, Bell, Blaney, Briscoe, Bowman. Where the hell is Chase Elliott? 15th. And Larson, he may win the championship this year in the NASCAR Cup Series. He's very strong. And there it is. Kyle Larson, 2025 Kansas winner. Chase was up there for a little bit, but fell back to 15th. Nice job, Kyle. AJ Styles. Osprey. Yeah, I love Osprey and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks in AEW. Zack Sabre Jr. That's a good one. Cobb is sweet. He used to throw Gunther like a rag doll in old promotions. There's always these old school clips. Ben. Young Bucks. Ricochet. That's a good list, man. Again, a lot of like high flying, entertaining guys. That's one thing that a lot of those guys have in common, high flying, high risk maneuvers, entertaining. Some guys, better on the mic than others, but it looks like for your list, it's more about the wrestling than like on the mic. And obviously mic skills are very important in wrestling, but as far as entertainment value, yeah, you chose a list of some very entertaining wrestlers top to bottom. Good list. First pitch. Oh God, we have Troy Taylor coming in. That's just as bad as fucking Colin Snyder or Bryce Miller. Holy hell. Oh, stop the bleeding, please. First pitch from Troy Taylor to Jonathan Clase, the former Mariner, 1-0 count. And Taylor needs to go back to AAA, but we had to bring him up because obviously the worst player on the team and Trent Thornton got hurt. And he was a bullpen guy as well. So 1-0 pitch, takes a strike swinging on the line. 1 ball and 1 strike from Taylor to Clase. Wrestling is actually good right now in 2025. It's probably the best it's been, since the Monday Night Wars, from 95 to 99. That was like the best era of wrestling. Obviously, I grew up with wrestling in the 80s as well, with Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior and Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors, and, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, and then obviously transitioning into Stone Cold and obviously The Rock and Undertaker and Mankind and the Attitude Era. And then obviously, but, from the 95 to 99 era was the best. But I think right now, wrestling is probably the best it's been since that time period. Top of the 8th, especially in the female division. The female division is so strong. Like, we've never seen it this strong ever. Not even back in the day. Like, the athletes on the female side are incredible. They've caught up to the men, for sure. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Taylor to Clase. Two-two pitch, in play, and grounded out to second, throw to first, 1 away. And Stefanik getting an opportunity to pinch hit for Bo Bichette. Michael Stefanik getting an opportunity to play. Well, they're up 9-1. Pitch fouled off. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 1 out. Troy Taylor on the mound. Stefanik in the box. Even the Mariner Moose couldn't save us today. Stefanik doesn't really have a whole lot of photos besides this one. One ball, 2 strikes from Troy Taylor. to Michael Stefanik. In play and lined out to third, throw to first, 2 away. Next up, first baseman Vladimir Guerrero Jr., 1 for 4 with a run. I gotta add this Stefanik photo to the Blue Jay file that I have. All right, Paisley wants out. She says, I can't even watch this Mariner game, Dad. They suck today. I know. I'm almost done. Top of the 8th, 9-1 Blue Jays. Troy Taylor on the mound, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the box, and Troy Taylor almost hits Vladdy in the face. Taylor definitely needs to go back to AAA. Not ready. He was pretty good at the end of last year when we called him up, but gosh, this year he's been not good at all. In play, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. grounds out to second, throw to first, and we get out of the inning. All right, we got 2 innings to get 8 runs. Not likely. Hell, we might not even get 1 more run, but, we'll see where it goes. I'm going to go get Paisley some food for lunch here, and I'll be right back. Oh, man. Mariners. All right, let's see what we got here. We need 4 runs in the 8th, 4 runs in the 9th. Next up for the Mariners, 0 for 2 with a K, right fielder Leody Taveras. Batting second, 0 for 2 with a K, third baseman Miles Mastrobuoni. And batting third, Dylan Moore. And again, thank God we haven't been blown out like this that often. Like, this is one of the first times all year that we've got blown out like this. I mean, we've already gone through, 38 games? And I don't remember really us getting beat up like this at all year. So hopefully this will be one of the few times where we get our ass kicked like this. Well, there's nothing wrong about, if you like her or you like her music, Taveras popped out to the shortstop, 1 away. I just feel that, at the time where they were promoting her, they were kind of brainwashing everyone, with the NFL and whatnot. And again, the more that you end up seeing a certain individual, whether it's male or female, and then they continue to push that on you over and over and over, again, it's going to either get you to, listen to her music or, be more about her, or it's just going to irritate the hell out of people that don't really care to, see that, But obviously, if you noticed, after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year, they didn't show her as much, so obviously it's all kind of a marketing ploy for her to get more followers and the NFL to get more followers. And obviously that kind of died off. They took advantage of the year that they had, and, they won the Super Bowl and it all worked out. And then they, still showed her a little bit, but definitely not as much as they did. Mastroboni grounds out to second, throw to first, 2 away. But I've seen, interviews and things about her. She is a good person. It's not like she's some shitty individual in Hollywood or in the music business. There's a lot of terrible people in Hollywood and in the music business. At least she's actually one of the good ones. So, she actually cares about people and gives back. Her music isn't my cup of tea, but, I respect her grind, and, I applaud her for actually being a good human being. It's kind of rare to find those nowadays. Bottom of the 8th with 2 outs and nobody on. Rodriguez on the mound. Next up is Dylan Moore. First pitch, inside. Takes a strike looking with a slider. 0-1 count. And Dylan Moore is the only one that got anything going for us today with a solo jack. 0-1 pitch. Pitch is low and away. 1 ball and 1 strike from Rodriguez to Demo. But you got to also realize, too, if you're like the biggest female, singer in the world, you're going to get brought up. Like Beyonce had her moment, Katy Perry had her moment, but, Taylor has been able to have the longevity, and she probably will, continue to have that longevity until she stops making music. So, it's like, when Michael Jackson was on top, it was it. That was Michael Jackson. There's nothing that you could do to have anyone top him. He was the guy. So, every once in a while, every generation will have their quote unquote Michael Jackson. All right, end of the 8th inning. Let's go to the top of the 9th, and hopefully we don't give up any more, but it's not looking too good at this point. Next up, 1 for 3 with 2 runs, an RBI, and a base on ball. Third baseman Addison Barger. Batting second, 2 for 4 with 2 runs and 3 RBIs, George Springer. And batting third, instead of Alejandro Kirk, you're going to go with Heineman. So let me get that photo up. All right, and Heineman is 0 for 2. So we're going to go Barger, Springer, Heineman. Let's see if we can find a better photo than that. It's a little too blurry for me. All right, here we go. They got a brand new one from yesterday. All right, so we can delete this other Heineman photo. I don't like photos that are blurry. There we go. Much better. They're closing the roof at T-Mobile. Rain's starting to come down in the Pacific Northwest. Rivas in the game as far as the Blue Jays are concerned on the mound. Not Leo Rivas for the Mariners. And Barger in the box. Pitch fouled off. Now behind in the count 0-2. Come on, baby. Wow, Williamson coming into the game. Don't get injured. Wow, they got Leo Rivas pitching. I wanted Leo Rivas to play, but I don't know if I wanted him to pitch. And Ben Williamson diving for a foul ball and just missing it. But great effort by Big Ben. I wish we had more players like that. That would be diving for, even foul balls. Love you, Big Ben. But it's bad when we got a player that normally plays shortstop or second base that's pitching. But that's what's happening here. Pitch fouled off behind the count 0-2. And a base hit by Barger. I mean, he's not even a pitcher. Brutal. Next up, George Springer. First pitch to Springer, high and away with the curve, 1-0 count. 1-0 pitch, fouled off with the slider. 1 ball and 1 strike from Leo Ribas, who is a shortstop second baseman on the mound. That's how bad it's gotten for Seattle. They don't even want to use any of the bullpen people. They got fucking Leo Ribas pitching. Pitches outside with a slider. 2 balls and 1 strike from Ribas to Springer. Double play. There we go. Nice double play on Springer. Next up, Tyler Heineman. Top of the 9th, nobody on, 2 outs. We got our fucking shortstop second baseman pitching because we have nobody left. And Heineman in the box. First pitch, fouled off with the slider. That shows you like how bad shit is, but like, you know, you can have a guy that's a second base shortstop who is an emergency pitcher do better than some of the guys that we had in the pen that actually are getting paid to be professional pitchers. That's when you know shit is bad for the bullpen for the Mariners. Some of the pitches that Ribas is pitching are 42 miles an hour. Holy cow. I mean, he's pitching like 40 to 70. Next up is Nathan Lukes. After Heineman ended up getting a little base knock there. Nathan Lucas, excuse me. Yeah, I mean, you know, again, it'll be up and down. You know, Mariners look like they're going to be a good playoff team this year. Ducks are great. Washington Huskies had their run a couple years ago with Michael Penix Jr. You know, Kraken still haven't been able to find themselves. They still suck. You know, we don't have the Sonics. So, you know, again, you know, it's not easy being a Pacific Northwest fan. You know, Blazers, Ducks, Beavers, Huskies, Cougars, Kraken, Seahawks, Mariners, and then eventually the Sonics. You know, so it's like you're going to have a little bit of good and a little bit of bad. You know, it's not going to be all great. You know, but one thing is for sure, when Pacific Northwest teams end up getting good after building for 4 or 5 years, they usually are like championship good, you know, but you know, when they're bad, they're really fucking bad. First pitch fouled off by, and another base knock. Let's get the bleeding to stop. Holy hell here. Now we got bases loaded. Clement singles to left, Lucas to second, Heineman to third, bases loaded with 2 outs. Next up is Miles Straw, but again, it's not even a pitcher that we have up there. He's pitching 41 miles an hour, unbelievable. He's lofting it like it's like softball or like slow pitch baseball, like in Little League or something. And popped up. And Masterboni is there. And we get out of it. That's really sad when you have a pitcher that's not even a pitcher pitching 40 miles an hour that can do better than our actual guys that are getting paid to be pitchers. Brutal. But at least we get out of the inning. 9-1. Blue Jays lead, and now we have to get 8 runs to tie, 9 to win. Easy. See who's up for the Mariners. Next up for the Mariners, 1 for 3, shortstop J.P. Crawford. Batting second, 0 for 3 with a K, center fielder Julio Rodriguez. And batting third, filling in for Cal Raleigh, Big Ben Williamson. Let's go Mariners. Mariners till I die, baby, no matter what. Oh, baby. Yeah, we haven't seen too many ass whoopings like this, thank God, in 2025. But you got to give credit to the Blue Jays. You know, they kicked our ass for 3 straight games, 6-3, 6-3, and, we're at 9-1 right now. Hopefully we can get to at least 2 or 3 before this game ends, but maybe they're all mentally checked out. But, 9 runs, 15 hits, compared to 1 run, 3 hits. And at least in game 1 and game 2, we got 3 runs. Now, this series kind of reminds you of what the Mariners looked like before we were good. Like last year, the year before that, where we had a really hard time hitting and we didn't have good pitching, and at least in the pen. So Okada. I don't know. I mean, I try to watch AEW, Dynamite, and Collision as much as possible. Maybe something with him and like Kenny Omega. I think is the last time I saw they had something that they were, going at each other and whatnot. But I don't know what feud he's got going at the moment. And they got Fisher on the mound, JP in the box. Takes a strike, looking on the corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Fisher to JP. Ugly game. And again, we got the Yankees on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm going to do all 3 of those games. It's going to be tough going against Aaron Judge, but I'm up for the challenge, and I can't get any worse than what we saw in these last 3 games, you would think. So, pitch fouled off, inside at the knees. 2 balls, 2 strikes to JP Crawford. Come on, JP. Thankfully for like YouTube and like, WWE has a channel, WCW has a channel, and then you can watch a bunch of old school matches from any federation. JP singles to right. There we go. Nice job, JP. I mean, if it can't be all about team statistics, you can at least do good yourself, right? And JP with a nice single into right field. Finally, we get our 4th hit of the day. Next up is Julio Rodriguez. And even though we're going to lose this game, if Julio goes yard, that would be awesome. Not saying that he will, but it would be great. .229 average, 6 homers, 17 ribbies. He's much better in May than he was in March and April. But again, when you're down fucking 8 runs, what can you do? Takes a strike, looking on the slider, right down the plate. 0-1 count. 0-1 pitch from Fisher to Julio. Slider outside. 1 ball and 1 strike from Fisher to Rodriguez. Come on, Julio. Bottom of the 9th, 9-1 Blue Jays. And we're on the brink of getting swept. But luckily, we've only been swept 1 other time all year. And that was to the Giants on the road when Victor Robles got hurt. So in play, Julio. And Julio grounds out into the double play. Brutal. 2 away. All right, we're down to our last batter, potentially. Coming in for Cal, Big Ben Williamson. Come on, Ben. A fan favorite, one of my favorites on the team. And even the Mariner Moose couldn't save us today. It'll be better in the New York series, though. Worst case scenario, obviously a sweep, but I think that, we could definitely win 2 out of 3 if the Bats come alive. If not, we're only going to win 1 out of 3. And in play, and grounds out to the pitcher, throw to first, and that is the game. Brutal, man. Bryce Miller is definitely the worst pitcher on the staff as far as the starters. Even AAA pitchers Emerson Hancock and Logan Evans are better. Maybe we need to send him to AAA or the injured list, because if that back is as serious as it looks, he's not helping this team. He's a liability. But you got to give the Blue Jays credit. Shout out to all the Blue Jay fans as well as the Blue Jays themselves. They won 6-3 game 1, 6-3 game 2, 9-1 game 3, and they get the brooms and they sweep the shit out of us. And again, we don't have it any easier starting tomorrow. I'll be live going against the Yankees on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday here at T-Mobile. So I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do on your way out. Shout out to Captain for his support on the channel as well. And again, we will be live tomorrow for the Yankees and the Mariners. I don't know the exact time. Let me look that up real quick. I assume it'll be late, since it's in Seattle. Maybe I would assume 7 o'clock, but we'll see. Let me double check. So we play at 6:40 on Monday, 6:40 on Tuesday, and rubber match at 1:10. So 6:40, and 1:10 against Aaron Judge and the Yankees. I'm looking forward to the challenge. Appreciate all you guys, Matt, not JT, Captain, everybody. And again, hope you guys have a great Mother's Day 2025. And I got one question for you. Well, talk sports like us. Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out. Go Mariners. Tridents up.